It means that there are likely going to be significant impacts felt, perhaps those hurricane conditions. That's why a hurricane warning has been issued. That happens when hurricane conditions are possible within the next 36 hours. So we haven't seen a big deviation. I know there's a big sensitivity, especially for folks watching across the Tampa Bay area, to a western track, the western portion of that cone. We haven't seen that. In fact, we're still not expecting sustained tropical storm force winds across any portion of our viewing area. But as Trevor mentioned, the margin for error here is very, very tiny, especially with a broader storm. That is the forecast track. And I wanted to point out the motion once again, if folks are just watching. We talked about how a slowdown would occur before a turn. If you've been watching over the last couple days, this storm was moving off to the west, northwest, 10, 12, 13 miles per hour. Look at it now. Its motion is crawling to the west at 5 miles per hour, which is brutal for the islands of the northern Bahamas. We're seeing that, the video that JB will be showing you, sadly, coming up in just a matter of minutes. This is going to be a brutal another 24 to 36 hours across those areas. There is the forecast turn that happens late tomorrow and into the early part of Tuesday with the weakness in the ridge off to the north. It won't take much to have a potential landfall on the East Coast, as Trevor mentioned. Thankfully, right now, I know a lot of people asking the GFS, the Euro, looked at both of them. They're both in consensus with an offshore track, but that doesn't mean that the impacts stay offshore. In fact, we're still talking about storm surge. Storm surge warning is now in effect, several feet of possibility for portions of the Florida Atlantic coast, and some of those wind gusts easily, especially with, as you mentioned, just a slight jog 10, 20 miles off to the west. We're talking about hurricane force winds now extending 45 miles out from that center of circulation. So it doesn't take much to bring those hurricane winds and move them on shore.